This is the Hamilton City Center. Believe it or not, located in the city center of Hamilton. It's a vibrant, white-walled mall with 3 floors of shopping and many thousands of square feet of floor space. Built in 1990, it looked to revitalize and upgrade the retail shopping experience in Hamilton forever. But by the time you watch this video, this building will have been demolished. But why tear down this luxury shopping space? The answer to this question may surprise you on yet another episode of Project Hamilton. Our story today, like many aspects of Hamilton, begins in Toronto. In 1970, Cadillac Fairview, a retail real estate provider, and Eaton's, Canada's largest department store brand, teamed up to build a project that would change the center of Canadian cities forever. Eaton's was a massive company in this day and age and owned a large portion of land in Toronto's central block. Some of it was used for the department store, but most of it was used for factories, industrial work, and office space. In the 60s and 70s, industrial jobs started leaving city centers en masse for more suburban and far-flung locations, and Eaton's was looking to make better use of its valuable land in the Big Smoke. Their idea, at the time, was f***ing insane. Tear it all down, the whole block, all of it, and build in its place one of the largest shopping malls on planet Earth. The politics of it all was long and controversial, as you could imagine when you destroy multiple consecutive blocks in the city center of one of Canada's largest cities.
Olivia Gondak, it says that I wanted to eat her.
Eaton's wanted the entire block, but there's a lot of history here. So the people of Toronto fought tooth and nail to preserve as much of the area as possible. In the end, only the old City Hall and Trinity Church were spared from destruction, and as you can see, both still stand to this day. Construction started in the early 1970s, but Eaton's would have to work around these workarounds and build their project in more of an L shape. And finally, in 1977, after decades of controversy, the Eaton Center was born. Many today would call the Toronto Eaton Center project an overwhelming success. It's the busiest shopping mall in all of North America, with over 50 million visitors that walk through its doors every year. That's more people per year than the Las Vegas Strip and Central Park. Holy shit. The area was so busy, it even spawned a Times Square-style intersection at the corner of Yonge and Dundas, right next to the mall's main entrance. Tourists loved it, and locals hated it. Just like the one in New York. But Eaton's and Cadillac Fairview weren't done with just Toronto. Oh no. They wanted to expand their idea to every city center in the country. As more and more people were moving out of downtown to live in the suburbs, Eaton's thought they had a foolproof plan to revitalize the downtown cores of Canada. But would other Canadian cities just let this massive company come in to bulldoze their downtowns and build tacky malls to replace them? Yes. All of them. From Montreal to Calgary to Winnipeg. Well, Peterborough, Sarnia, you get an Eaton Center. You get an Eaton Center. God damn, everybody gets an Eaton Center. These modern malls were taking over the country one city at a time. So now that you know the origins of this project, let's talk about the weirdest mall of them all. Eaton's had a large department store in downtown Hamilton for a long time, located at York and James. It was a legendary 6th-floor store, the largest of all of Hamilton's department stores, right in the city center. It opened its doors in 1929, which meant it was old, which meant it was bad, which meant it needed a redo, right?
The top floors of the old Eaton's building were blasted into history this morning. The demolition is to make way for the new Eaton Center, which is expected to be completed by late next year.
It would be at a much smaller scale compared to the Toronto Eaton Center, with a new Eaton's department store as the anchor. Downtown was in a downward economic spiral, and Eaton's thought it was the perfect way to bring people back, just like they did in Toronto a decade prior. The Hamilton Eaton Center opened in 2 phases. First was just the Eaton's department store, and then 18 months later, the mall was fully unveiled to the public. It was beautiful on the inside. The interior was a white, postmodern architecture style that arguably looked even sexier than Toronto's interior. And on the outside, This, wow. This is, oh, wow. Hamilton's Eaton Center is verifiable proof that beauty comes from within. Because the outside looks like shit. At first, the new shopping center attracted notable tenants such as H&M and Eddie Bauer. Seemingly, like Toronto, the project was a success. At the time, Hamilton's downtown had a countrywide reputation of being sketchy and unflattering, so attracting expensive businesses like these were seen as a huge win. However, there were a lot of blatantly obvious problems with this project that Eaton's failed to recognize, and as you will see, this mall was doomed from the moment it opened, but not for the reasons you might think. So, directly adjacent to this new mall was an established 500,000 square foot shopping center that had existed for 18 years prior, called Lloyd D. Jackson Square. Man, they should really shorten that in the future. Okay, good. But seriously, Eaton's and Cadillac Fairview were building a new mall directly next to a new mall. And let's be clear, this is not an expansion of Jackson Square. This is a totally new, separate mall on the same city block. I'm assuming the original thinking behind it was, oh, this new mall is gonna have all the deluxe brands, you know? If the original vision of the city center was realized, today the space would be occupied by Gucci, Banana Republic, Louis Vuitton, and Lululemon, while Jackson Square would be home to dollar stores and much cheaper brands. Not only that, but the interior was way sexier and more modern than Jackson Square, and it had an Eaton's department store. And everybody knows Canada loves Eaton's, a proud, unstoppable Canadian brand with inspiring ambition and a mass of public support that will pave the way for, oh hi Walmart. Eaton's closed all of their locations in 1999, 9 years after the mall opened. America's invasion of Canadian department stores was an overwhelming success, and even today, Walmart is one of the most beloved brands in all of Canada. Shortly after shutting down, Hamilton's Eaton Center was renamed to Hamilton City Center. But they took a while coming up with that one. The mall, with paid parking and no anchor tenant, wasn't doing too good. Jackson Square itself wasn't doing too good as well. Mostly because we still haven't talked about the other nearby malls. Yeah, there's another Center Mall in Hamilton, and it's called Center Mall. It's fairly popular with locals and space for free parking. Cool. Oh, wait a second. There's another nearby mall that has more parking and more floor space than all the other malls combined, and it's right next to a highway? Keep in mind, all these malls existed before the Hamilton City Center was built. In fact, Center Mall was built in 1955 and was the first year-round shopping center in Canada. By the way, do you know which mayor of Hamilton cut the ribbon to open Center Mall way back in the day? Lloyd D. Jackson, baby. It all comes full circle. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little distracted here, but this part of the city center's history is pretty lackluster. The anchor tenant was never replaced, and the mall portion was expanded to take up the anchor tenant. Every shop that could be considered high-end eventually left, and the Hamilton City Center was destined to become the bargain bin of downtown Hamilton. The place people went if Jackson Square was just too expensive for them. Speaking of that, Jackson Square has improved over the years and is overall a better and more populated place than it was 20 years ago. The same cannot be said for the Hamilton City Center. It's seen as this awkward protrusion coming out of the side of Jackson Square like a tumor. It was so out of style so fast, and the closure of the mall was imminent to everyone years before it actually closed. In 2011, the mall was purchased for a measly $25 million by a developer looking to transform the property into something new. And from then on, the days of the city center were numbered. People will reminisce and be sad that the building is going away, but oh my God! I'm so glad it's gone! This is prime real estate in the direct city center of one of Canada's largest cities, and it's been so underutilized for so long. People walked in here to get their phone fixed, to go to the heart store, or just to admire the decor, and that's it. This cafeteria is the saddest thing I have ever seen. I recorded this footage 2 days before the mall closed forever. There's almost no one here. 5 p.m. on Christmas weekend. It's kind of eerie, unsettling even. Personally, I took the opportunity to cash out on some of the cheapest retail goods I've ever seen. Most stuff being sold here was 70 to 90% off the original price, and I took full advantage. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what I got here. I got this trash right here, this tiny little trash can. Got a plunger for my bathroom. I've been needing one of these for a while. I got some balloons here. We got a baseball balloon and an emoji balloon. An umbrella, I lost one not too long ago. And last but not least here, I got 3 flags. Of course, flag of Canada, my home country. English football is coming on. The last flag is gonna be, that's right, the flag of North Korea. Hell yeah. It is a sad fate for the white-walled mall, a fate that seems all too obvious today. It was supposed to be a smaller, more modern version of the Eaton Center, the no-brainer that would bring the people of Hamilton back to downtown. But once Eaton lost Eaton, the writing was on the wall. It was all over. This place should have been closed a decade ago, but Hamilton is 10 years late as usual. It's going to be replaced with a $700 million complex, holy shit, which will include housing and outdoor shopping. Not much is known about the project yet. This probably won't be what the final building looks like. It's probably gonna be 4 towers or more. We'll just have to wait and see. Construction could last up to another decade, so it'll be a while before we truly know what will stand in its place. In summary, with a lack of free parking, market oversaturation, and the prospect of building a luxury shopping space in a low-income area of the city, this mall was destined for demolition long before Eaton's went bankrupt. When you take a step back and look at it, just doesn't make any sense. As far as the other Eaton Centers around Canada go, most of them are defunct, some of them stayed around with a new name, and none of them got anywhere near 50 million visitors a year, so yeah. Who knows what would have happened if this doomed project was never lifted off the ground in the first place? Maybe Hamilton would still have a historic department store. Maybe not. Let's be honest here, they would have turned this into a 6-story Walmart, which isn't exactly much better. But at least the exterior wouldn't make me want to cry. As someone who loves downtown Hamilton as one of the last dense, urban, walkable neighborhoods in Ontario, I say good riddance to the Hamilton City Centre. It's kind of funny, first we copy Toronto's malls, and then we tear it down and copy their condos. You really gotta stop taking pointers from Toronto.
And the next thing I want to call Mayor Britannia in Hamilton and tell them that we're going to have to spank their little tiger cats. Oh, and the last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home.
What about drinking and driving, Mayor? What about drinking and driving?